So people are drifting these days. I saw a study years ago. I can't remember who, but you can find it yourself. That was talking about psychologists, especially basically estimating that 95% of the time, people are making unconscious decisions. So not subconscious, unconscious, like a hypnotic state, as they put it. And what that means is this is when people are running programs. Like I call it the Matrix. And in the Matrix, people run programs generally. They're only conscious about 5% of the time. I would say there's a lot of people out there that are basically just never conscious. They're drifting through. There's not a lot of emotion. There's definitely not a lot of critical thought. We can see that with world events and some of these things that are so clear for a lot of us to see. But people have been so impacted by the environment and the social environment, social media especially, right? Social media, television, programming, the news on the internet. There's so much of this stuff that's reinforcing programs in people. You can see this in politics, right? How both sides will be so adamant about, they'll be so polarized and so convinced that they're completely right. Very rarely are they seeing things from any kind of objective reality, which is what I try to do myself. I try to, and I think a lot of us do. We're a rare breed, but there's a lot of people on the internet that on YouTube especially, that are starting to think like this. Another thing is the dating scene. I mean, there's so much talk about how bad the dating scene is, and especially women. And I'm not here to rag on women or to really get into that, but I have felt it firsthand in the past year. I had an experience that just was befuddling to me, where I had a girl that I had been talking to for on and off for years. And I went down to see her, and things went great. And then when I got back, she acted so nice when I was down there, and then she just flipped a lid like a total psycho and told me to basically F off. And I was just like, what? But anyway, once you see that kind of a red flag, you run for the hills. But I think what happens is that's from a program. That's from a social program. That's from the feminist program. You know, the new age feminist. Men pay for everything. Basically, women get all of the benefits, but none of the responsibilities. But they say they want the responsibilities, but they really don't. They want to be able to go out and make more money. They want to be able to get the job, go to college, but they don't want to have to pay for the food. And they definitely don't want to have to go to fight for their country or have to fix the plumbing in the house or fix the car. You see where I'm going for this. And that's a social program. That's something that's been blasted through the news. But what I really want to talk about is that's a form of the drifting, is what I'm saying. So you notice these people kind of have this zombie-like expression on their face. I've noticed it where you go out and, obviously one thing is everyone is wearing headphones, or they're on their phone, or they're on their tablet, or they're on their laptop, wherever you go. So it's very hard to be social anyways. But a lot of times, if you say hi to someone in public, I'm actually a very social person. I have no problem from my past job as a personal trainer, nutrition coach. I still do that stuff, but I used to talk to people on the street all the time. And there was a time where it was a lot easier, but I noticed over the past, obviously 5 or 6 years, certain events, lockdowns, etc., people act like they'll just get this weird look on their face. It's a lot more like that depending on if you're in a huge city. I think it's worse. Generally out in the country, people are more hospitable because there's not just so much ruckus. There's not so much noise, I guess, white noise. But what I'm saying, the whole point of this video is you know, we have to take it upon ourselves to, again, notice that we are running programs, okay? We're running programs where we're going to do what society told us to do. Go out and get the job you hate. Go get a significant other, even if you really don't like them. Put up with it. How often do we see this? I'd say about 90% of relationships, from what I've seen, I can't understand for the life of me how they stay together. But it's like it's better than nothing, I suppose, is kind of the programming. But we're being programmed by so many different things. And what this ends up happening is we end up in the drift, which is like Napoleon Hill in Outwitting the Devil. He talks about drifting, where he's literally having a conversation with the devil in the book. And that talk about drifting. When you fall off of your path, when you start running off of reactionary programs, drifting, yeah, that's what they call it. He calls it drifting. And then you start to get into bad habits, which we see. So people will be scrolling on their phone, just playing video games all the time. I mean, nothing against video games, but like a lot of people do it. I've done it in the past just as an escape, stressed out, tired of the outside world, maybe feeling a little isolated, throw a video game on and kind of zone out. But watching television, binge watching Netflix, things that aren't really doing anything productive for your life, addictions, just out vaping all over the place. And like, it's fracturing society. And I think it's up to us, the people that notice, and lots of people, I think, flicker in and out of the matrix, where like they may become aware for a little while. Maybe it's that 5% I was talking about, but then they fall back into the 95%, the programming. I need to go to school because society told me, and then they act like they're better than you because they went to school. Even if you went to school, their school was better, and you end up in this one-upping, kind of ridiculous. We end up in this ridiculous little like feuds, and society, and then fractured. Someone's always trying to one up someone else, is what this comes down to, right? My side is better than your side. The right side's better than the left. Left side's better than the right. Blue's better than red. We need to vote these people in, etc. And I think what I'm trying to say is I want to have solutions on this channel. And one of the best solutions is self-awareness, which that sounds very cliche. But what I mean by that is basically meditation. Like, I've done meditations in the past, like real meditations that I went into for like 30, 40 minutes, maybe even an hour. I mean, I don't go crazy. I'm not like a Buddhist monk. But if you do these meditations, you'll see the following. You'll see that your thoughts are not your own. They're coming in randomly. It happens to all of us. And I think that's part of the drifting that I'm talking about, is when all of a sudden you're out there and you believe these thoughts are coming into your head. But if you go through a meditation, it can be very frustrating at first, which is a good sign, actually. The first time I did a meditation, a true meditation where I sat, focused on my breathing, I found a meditation in one of my books. I have a lot of different like Eastern philosophy books behind me here. I might have to change the camera angle in the future so people can actually see them. But I had the damnedest time just focusing on my breathing. Like, it sounds so simple, and like you're like, all right, just focus on the air coming in through your nose. That's it. You're just trying to fixate on something without like hyper focusing, just like a relaxed focus. You're breathing, you're controlled breathing, and you're just thinking very softly. You're not trying to force it. You breathe and you just keep your awareness, as they say. And 5 seconds later, I'm already off into like the same stupid thoughts are flowing through my brain. Like, It's hilarious. And then what happens is you bring it back. 5 seconds later, it happens again, you bring it back. Then all of a sudden, it's like 10 seconds later, you bring it back, etc. And then after about, usually for me, about 15 minutes to just get into the meditation, to where like the thoughts are no longer just randomly flying in and distracting me. You could become like autonomously breathing, and then the thoughts will come, and then you'll see them, and then you'll release them. So that's the meditation is great also to release old traumas. But also, once I got out of the first meditation, I realized how much my thoughts are controlling me. I just was walking down the street afterwards, paying attention to these thoughts bouncing around. I was like, wow, I'm not even thinking these. I'm not even in control of what of these thoughts are. And that's a big problem in this day and age, especially with all the social media and all of the distractions and the scrolling and all the things I talked about before, is that you lose your inner self. And then like because these thoughts run cycles. They say like there's only like the number's not important, but it's a finite number of thoughts that keep recycling throughout the day. Generally negative, generally things that haven't happened yet, or maybe something that just happened recently, like a trauma. And it'll happen, it'll come, it'll go, it'll come, it'll go, and then it just keeps on happening. And then what's happening is like you're just like a robot with these thoughts going through your head, just trying to get from one distraction to the next. It's like, okay, here's the fast food restaurant. The thoughts keep coming. Okay, well, now it's time for a cigarette. The thoughts keep coming. Okay, well, now I'm at work, right? And then you're forced to do that monotonous task or whatever your work is. And then when it gets done, it's like the thoughts keep coming. Okay, I'm turning on the TV, zone out. So that's what I mean by drifting, guys. So those are just my thoughts. I'd like to know what you guys think about that. Go ahead and leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you like the channel. See you guys in the next one.